Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video today, I'm going to talk about boundaries. So I wanted to start this off by saying that this message is more so for people that need balance in their life as opposed to discipline. So what I mean by that is, you know those people, and I am one of those people as well, that just take on so much and you see that they're constantly busy and they perhaps need to say no more and to put more boundaries in place. So it's kind of for those people that need more of a balance and to not take on so many things. And I'm going to take a lot from this book, which is Boundaries. So to be honest, I haven't actually finished this book yet. I've gotten through the beginning part of it, but it's been so helpful to me already. And so I would definitely recommend this book, but I'm going to chat a little bit about it and just share some of my thoughts and tips on setting boundaries and why it's so important. So again, this video is for you if you're finding that you are overwhelmed, you always have something to do, you just have way too much on your plate, you're constantly running around. In the beginning of this book, they give an example of this woman and they walk you through her day-to-day life where she wakes up in the morning and before she's about to go to school, her daughter asks her, "Can you sew this dress for me?" So she takes that on in the morning before she has to get breakfast ready for the kids, and then she needs to go to work. And when she's at work, then she has her boss come up to her and ask her if he can finish an assignment for her that was actually his assignment, so he's putting something on her plate that was not her responsibility. She says yes, she'll do it tonight, even though she absolutely does not have any time. And then when she is at work, one of her friends calls her, and it's one of those friends that I guess is just constantly venting to her, and like a needy friend who just, who really needs her counsel. And she talks to that friend for an hour, which is obviously very draining to her, and she doesn't have time to do it because she has so many other things to do. And then she gets home and she has to skip her exercise routine because her husband didn't clean or cook or do anything like that, so she has to do that. And then she's trying to do the assignment, and then her mom comes over and her mom is like, I want to spend time with you, etc. And she feels like she cannot tell her mom, look, I have a lot on my plate, I can't do this. So she lets her mom hang out at her house for a few hours, and then she ends up staying up until whatever time in the morning, trying to finish this assignment that her boss gave her, and again just having no time for herself at all. So I might have not gotten that exactly correct, but when you're reading it and you're hearing the details of her life, of her wanting to say no, and when you're reading it and you see that someone asks her, "Hey, can you do this for me?" or her mom comes over, her friend calls, and when you're reading it, you're like, say no, you can't, it's too much, you have to say no. But she says yes. So reading that, I really identified with it for myself, and I think a lot of people can as well, for again those people that take on too much and just say yes to too much, almost like a people pleaser thing, is saying yes to too many people. So let's just say when it comes to social things, if you have people from all of your past workplaces, like elementary school, whoever it is, every single friend you've ever known, every person on Facebook is reaching out to you, "Hey, we should hang out, hey, we should grab coffee, hey, we should go to dinner," etc. You're not a bad person for not being able to have that commitment, because maybe you don't even have time to see your own very close friends right now. Maybe you don't have time to even spend with your family right now, or you're just lacking time for yourself. You haven't been able to go to the gym, or you haven't been able to have your own space. And it's okay to say no, or it's okay to say, "Can we reschedule this for a date in the future?" And it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a mean person. You really have to be able to fill your own cup first before you can give to other people. And that person is going to appreciate it so much more if when you meet with them, you are fulfilled and you're able to pour out into that relationship as well and into that conversation, as opposed to being so absent-minded because you're just thinking about all of the other things that you should be doing right now. And then another aspect of boundaries is with our phones. And again, I know that people that are really crazy busy can relate to this with answering messages, especially DMs on Instagram. I feel like those can just get out of control. And then, messages, there's just so many social media platforms where you have to check your Snapchat, your Facebook notifications, your Messenger, iMessage, WhatsApp, regular text messages. I mean, a lot of people, I know for myself, I would feel that pressure that I have to respond right away. But what I noticed is actually there's a couple of people that I work with, and like I use their services. And what I would find is that sometimes I would message them and they wouldn't get back to me until like 2 or 3 business days, or they wouldn't answer me past certain points of the night, or they wouldn't answer me sometimes on the weekends. And you know what? From my perspective, I was absolutely not offended at all. That actually made me respect them, because I realized that because they're entrepreneurs, and again, this is something that entrepreneurs especially I think could relate to, because they're entrepreneurs, they're on all the time, but they need to give themselves that personal space. Otherwise, as an entrepreneur, any single time you have free time, you're going to fill it with your work. It's very hard not to. And so it actually made me respect them more that they were not answering my message past that certain time, because I knew that it was intentional and it wasn't personal. It was just like, I need to step away from my work. And that also inspired me and gave me permission to do the same. Not in a rude way, but I just try to not be on my phone as much anymore. Don't get me wrong, I answer my emails, I answer messages, and I'm there for people, but I don't have to answer within 10 minutes of getting that message. And something that also goes hand in hand with that, I think, is phone calls. For me personally, I try to not be on the phone past a certain time of night, because that cuts into like my quiet time, and that quiet time is so crucial for me to pour back into myself so that I can pour back into other people. So I won't be on the phone past a certain time at night. And maybe that's not realistic for you, but just really questioning, like, do I need to take this phone call at this time of night? Do I need to speak to this person immediately? Do I need to answer the phone right now? Or can this wait? Can they send me a message? Can they leave me a voicemail? Can I get back to them the next day? And then when it comes to people asking you to maybe do them a favor, just being realistic with the amount of time that you have. And I think something that's really, really helpful that my mom actually kind of taught me to do, because she would be the same as me, just like a yes, yes, yes person, is when you're put on the spot, and if you're a people pleaser and you're someone that wants to say yes constantly, you're going to say yes to something that you may not actually want to do. And then you kind of just end up doing it in a bitter way, or you may end up resenting the person in that situation, and no one wins in that situation. So instead of saying yes immediately, just saying, can I get back to you? And that buys you time to be able to look at your calendar and say, is this realistic? Do I need to like squeeze in another thing on that day, or is that really going to stress me out? There are 1,000,001 things that we can be doing. We could say yes to every single favor someone asks us to do. We can say yes to every single hangout and coffee date and phone call. But at the end of the day, if we're not able to have that time for ourselves to do whatever it is you need to do, like exercise or have quiet time or read or just pour back into yourself, then when you do have those encounters, they're not going to be as fulfilling on either end anyways. And one of the last things I was going to say is being really honest with yourself about if this is something that you want to do. Now, there is a balance there, because of course we don't want to be selfish people where someone asks us to hang out and we're like, well, I don't really want to hang out with them, because we have people in our lives that also need our counsel or need that connection with us as well. But it is a balance of figuring out, like, do you actually enjoy that friendship or enjoy that conversation, enjoy that encounter? Is this a one-sided situation where that person wants to hang out with you, but you actually really don't enjoy their company? But also remembering that we are here to like love on other people and connect with other people and lift them up. So it's not about always it's definitely not going by only your feelings, because if that was a situation, then we can become selfish and say, that doesn't serve me. I don't feel like doing that. I don't want to do this. That's a waste of my time. And the last thing I was going to say is with the people pleaser situation, that's a really deep thing, because that like oftentimes really comes from our childhood and from root issues from like a parent or a sibling or something like that, where we didn't receive that validation or acceptance as a child. So it's like when someone gives that to us as an adult, it's very difficult to say no, and that's a whole other situation. But just being mindful of that someone else like desiring you, wanting to spend time with you, wanting your help, that's amazing. But it doesn't add any more value to you whether you say yes or you say no. So that is it for this video. I really recommend this book, Boundaries. There's so much more to setting boundaries than just what I spoke about, but I just wanted to do this like quick little thing to inspire you guys, especially those people that need more balance in their life. So thanks so much guys for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.